In this video, we're going to show you how to make the table that the assembled TV and stand will sit upon. To start this, go to the top left hand corner and click on New. Then make sure you've got metric selected and then double click on Standard from the part drawn list. Once your part is open, you're ready to work, what we're going to do first of all is start a new sketch, and what we do is click on the icon here. You'll see these three work planes appear. Now we want to select this one, the XZ plane, and when it goes white, click on it. Now the first thing we want to do, and I want to draw your attention to, is this view box in the top right hand corner here. At the moment we can see that the word top is going upright. We want to read that as we would left to right. To do that, move the mouse over it and click on this left hand side arrow here. You see that it's spun the view around, so now the top view is exactly how we would look at it. Now this is going to make things much easier at later stages, so get into the habit of making sure that you do that whenever you're doing a new sketch in a view. Right, the first shape we need to draw here is a rectangle, so we're going to use the rectangle tool from the top toolbar. We'll always make sure we start our sketch from this yellow dot in the centre. So we click once, move the mouse out and click again. At this stage it doesn't matter how big this rectangle is, because at this stage next we're going to dimension it to the correct size. So to dimension it, we move up to the dimension tool and click on it. Now I want to make the length of this rectangle 1,800 millimeters long. And you can see at this stage that that rectangle's gone off the screen because it's got larger. Now there are two ways to rectify that. We can either roll the middle mouse button out until we can see it all, or you can double click the middle mouse button and it will bring your view to fit. The middle mouse button is the rubber wheel in the centre of your mouse. I now want to make the height of this rectangle 400. So I'll do that there. We've now finished this sketch, so we move up to the top right hand corner of the screen to the Finish Sketch button and click on it. And again, you can see that this is zoomed out, so if I double click the middle mouse button, I can see the whole sketch, which will make the next bit a bit easier. The next stage for this is to extrude this rectangle upward. So I move the mouse to the top left hand corner to this Extrude button, select it, and then you can see because there's only been one sketch so far, it will automatically select this. Inventor will automatically select this sketch, and then we have to put a distance that we want to extrude this shape up to. So an extrusion is where you take a 2D shape and you stretch it upward in a straight line, and we want to stretch this upward by 80 millimeters. So in here we're entering 80 and then clicking OK. Now we want to create a sketch on this top face here. So if I select this top face, you can see how the outline of it has turned white. And then select the sketch button. And again, you can see how this sketch on the top has turned round. So I go back to the top right and select this arrow to the left to turn it around. Again, at this stage, I want to create a rectangle. So I'm going to select rectangle. And I want to have the rectangle locked onto the top line, not the top corner, but onto the top line here. And sketch a rectangle at any size along here, something like what I'm showing you on the screen. Again, now we're going to dimension it to the correct sizes, so I click on the dimension button at the top. The first size I'm going to set is from the left hand side of the large rectangle to the left hand side of the smaller rectangle. So select both lines until they're white, and then move the mouse upward so I can see the size up here. I'm going to set this size as 50 millimeters. Then I'm going to select this length here for the rectangle. I'm going to set this to 1,700 millimeters. The next thing I'm going to do is select the height of this smaller rectangle. I'm going to set that to 350 millimeters. That's the final stage of sketching this rectangle. So I can click on the green arrow for finish sketch in the top right hand corner. And then I'm going to extrude this smaller sketch upward. So I need to click on the extrude button. And then I need to select this smaller sketch. Now you can see, and it's very faint, but you can see that when you move the mouse over that sketch, it turns a slightly lighter shade of grey. Okay, so you want to, in here, select that, and you can see it's previewing up. I want to change the distance here to 50, and then click OK. The next stage of creating this table is to create another sketch on this surface here. So I'm going to select this surface, and then I'm going to click on Start 2D Sketch. Again, it's turned around this way, so I'm going to go back to the top right corner and click on the left arrow to spin it around. I'm looking to create now a rectangle, so I'm going to click on the rectangle button, and I want to make this rectangle the exact same size as the existing large rectangle. So I'm going to start from the bottom left corner, and then I'm going to move it to the very top right corner. And what you'll find is that the cursor will snap to that corner. And what I mean by snap is it's almost like there's a magnet between the cursor and the top corner, and it will attract it. Okay. So I'm going to click there. That's me created the sketch. I know it's the same size as the previous one because the cursor snapped to the two corners. So I've finished this sketch, so I'm going to click on Finish Sketch. At this stage, I would need to extrude this large rectangle, so I'm going to click on the Extrude button. And that large rectangle, this one was already selected. If it doesn't automatically select yours, then just come down and select it as you did previously. In the distance box here, I'm going to enter 200 millimeters and then click OK. The next stage for this is we're going to create a slot on this face here for maybe a DVD player or a PS4 or a Skybox or something along those sort of lines to fit in it. So I'm going to, I can see this front face here. You can see again the white outline around it. So I'm going to select that and then click on Start 2D Sketch. You can see how this is moved off the side of the screen, mainly because it always centers on the yellow dot here. To bring this out, I can either double click the middle mouse button or click and hold the middle mouse button and move the mouse over. Now this is called panning the view. It's a useful technique that we'll use quite often during Inventor. At this stage, I'm going to zoom in a touch by rolling the middle mouse button toward me. I need to be able to see the outskirts of that. So at this stage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sketch a rectangle in this space here. So I need to click on the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle any size somewhere around about there. Again, at this stage, what we'll now do is add dimensions to this. So I'll move to the dimension button at the top of the screen. And I'm going to start with dimensioning from the very left-hand side of the unit to the left-hand side of this new rectangle. And I'm going to set this size to 625. And then press Enter. Next, I'm going to set the length of the rectangle I've just sketched to 550. And press Enter. Then I'm going to select the top of the large rectangle and then the top of the smaller rectangle. Move the mouse along and I'm going to set this size to 45 and press Enter. Finally, I'm going to select the height of the rectangle. I'm going to set that size to 100 and then press Enter. Once you've set sizes to these, as shown here, then move the mouse to the top right-hand corner and click on Finish Sketch. What we now need to do is extrude this inward to remove material. Now, removing material in 3D CAD modelling is called subtraction.